gonna try and make myself a Starship slingshot with this crutch. This is a crutch I ended up getting from my friend. He ended up breaking his leg on his Harley, and his leg is all healed up, so he had no use for these. So I told him just to let me have them. I'm gonna make a Starship slingshot with it. I also have, this is piping. I ended up cutting it in half, and then I took a hacksaw and then I just cut a piece off, which falls perfect right here. I also took a piece of wood and I ended up cutting this piece out of it. This is a this is from some shelving that they ended up throwing away at my job. It was 2 ends, and then these rods ended up extending. I ended up using these rods for some stabilizers that I ended up doing for the canoe that I have. And this is the piece that's left. What I ended up doing was taking these 2 pieces and snipping them off. I took each one and put it in a vise, and then I just hit it with a hammer to the side, which I ended up coming up with this. So I have 2 of them that I ended up making that are gonna go like that. And then I also have this piece of piping. This is from a step ladder from my job that somebody ended up crashing with a forklift. They ended up throwing the ladder away, and all I saw was just usable material that I could just use to fabricate anything, because I like to fabricate things. I'm a welder, so I'm always just inventing stuff. What I ended up doing was just took a saw and just snipped the ring off of it, and this ring is just the right size to slide right in here. It's a bit snug, but it still slides in perfect. And this is what I'm going to use for the slingshot itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 and tack weld them together right there, and then just weld this whole piece onto here. Okay, I have that. This piece of wood, I have a 3/4 inch bit here, and I'm gonna use this to drill holes. Well, I'm gonna drill 2 holes into this, which as soon as I take this apart and twist the one pipe, it should be able to fit perfect on there, where I could just grab it, and this is gonna go on the bottom. You'll get a better picture of it once I start putting it together. I also have this piece of all-thread rod, which I'm gonna use for the handle. I have this slingshot rubber band. It came out to $4.50. These are heavy duty, so you could stretch them very, very far. And I have these self-drilling screws, which I'm going to use to hold everything together. Let's get started. Now I'm going to weld this together. I'm going to use this to try and keep it as leveled as possible. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just tack this. That way it's nice and steady. Now, I'm just check this. Make sure it's nice. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It is hot. Okay, there it is. All welded together. Now I just have to let it cool down. Give it a nice little coat of paint to prevent it from rusting up. Then I could continue working on the Starship slingshot. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is unscrew this handle off. Take the handle out. Just put this to the side. And then I'm gonna take these rivets out. Remove this rivet here and this one right here. Garbage can right here to catch all the metal shavings. Just drill it out. I'm gonna end up keeping this bent washer because I'm gonna put it back on. Put that to the side there. Remove this rivet here. Okay, this comes out. I should be able to extract this out. Or have to keep drilling a bit more. I'm also going to have to remove this rivet here. So remove that off of there. This one from here. This should be able to slide right out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this one back in, but facing down. basically this is what it's gonna look like. Now the handle is gonna go right here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the all-thread rod, and then I'm gonna use, okay, I ended up sliding the original wing nut that came with the handle. I ended up sliding the wing nut onto the all-thread rod, giving it enough room to slide into the handle and to slide in through here. But before that, I'm gonna put a washer to prevent this rubber handle from sliding out, because with the force of you pulling back the slingshot, these handles have a tendency of just sliding right out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the first washer on there, and then I'm gonna use a bigger washer just to make sure it does not come out. Slide this right through and slide it right through here. Now I have these little nuts that I'm going to just slide right on here. Screw it all the way in. And then just tighten the wing nut. And make sure that these washers are nice and centered. And then I'm just going to keep tightening this wing nut until that's nice and tight. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little saw and just saw it off and rip it right off. But I want to make sure I leave some threads out. Make sure I do this right on top of the garbage can. Metal shavings just fall right in there. And with this all-thread rod, as soon as you make a notch on it, you're able to just bend it. It comes right off. Now, what I want to do is I want to judge how far back I want it to go. So I'll say about here is how far I want it to go back. So what I'm going to do is put this right on top of the garbage can and just saw them right off. There's that piece. This to the side. Now what I want to do is just come straight down and cut it nice and even. I want to make sure that all that metal shaving just falls right in the garbage. Take this, put it to the side, and that's what's left.